Okay. Hey guys. Sorry about that. All right. Check, check, check. One, two, three.
Check, we got you now.
All right. Welcome in. Jen Dub here. Jen, host, the creator of Woke by Accident podcast. We are honored to have our co-host, Sambaza, host and creator of the Sambaza podcast. Originating from the Republic of Kenya, he has established himself as a distinguished figure in the podcasting community. His work has been recognized with 3 nominations for Best African Diasporan Podcast and by the APVA, along with a nomination for Best Blog by the Texas Creator Awards. And Sambaza has also participated with the Afros and Audio Podcast Festival and the 2025 and 2026 Podfest. Welcome.
Hey, Jen, how you doing today? It's a nice to
Good.
see
You
you.
know what? I was pushing my Mac closer to me and I realized I clicked on the off button. That's what happened. I was like, wait a minute.
And I was like, what's going on? That's why I was like, wait, I can't
Okay.
hear you.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that.
You're welcome. Anytime. Well, how was the week?
It was really good. Very a lot of stuff going on. Service projects even this week. Even I've done some, but yeah, it's good for the heart. So I'm excited about that. And as we excited to conclude our Black History series, but I'm going to keep digging and keep researching, making the AI videos about Black history because I've really been enjoying it.
Yeah, because why are we stopping? We keep going.
Well, I mean, there's other topics to cover. I just
Oh,
shared with, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Not about the topics. What I was looking at in terms of we can share it by ourselves. Just let each other know what's going on in this world, because I think we're just scratching the surface.
Oh, for sure,
Um,
definitely.
I did a Black History Month event
Mhm.
this past week, uh, this past weekend actually, for the high school, not for the high school, but for the Phony ISD. They did something, and I did a 10-minute clip where we ask questions
Mhm.
in like a podcast. It was
Okay, cool.
really great, and um, so yeah, it was one of a great event. Loved it. I'll throw things in the socials. Um, then I have another one this coming Friday
Oh,
to end.
nice.
Yeah, this will
Good.
something else. Yes. Shout outs to everyone who's joining in today. We have Tiffany joining in, Tiffany Bird, and she says, "Why not do one each week at the top of the show?" Yes, I think we can look
That's
into
an
that.
idea.
Right.
That's an idea.
Maybe an affirmation, then maybe once in a week to see how we can level it up with the affirmation and the proverb, African proverb. So we have three things. Maybe we put it in between somewhere along the line, or maybe we finish the show with that.
With a fact. Okay, that's a
Yeah,
thought.
that could be a great thing to finish off the yeah. So I think that's a very good idea. We'll look into it definitely. But yeah, I've had an awesome week. I
Good.
couldn't complain. Yeah, it's been great, very great.
That's good. Any affirmation to share?
Soccer season has started, so it's a lot of things going on. So
Oh,
many
you
things.
said soccer.
Yeah, soccer started
Yeah.
and going on. Football. For those
Mm.
of you in Africa, our affirmation of the week this week says, "My voice is powerful and worthy of being heard." I'll repeat it again. My voice is powerful and worthy of being heard.
Okay. That is a great message. Thank you for sharing that. What else do you have for us?
Ah, okay. I did travel. Like I said, we did travel. Uh, but as I'm traveling, I went into remember that enclave that I talked about, part of Angola last week.
Mm,
Now we're gonna go to Angola itself. So I just moved over and went to Angola. So Angola is a vibrant blend of Portuguese and African cultures, featuring a very young population of the ages of 16 as of the 2026 census. Now imagine that.
hmm,
Man, but this is because of war. If you check on the
Okay.
history, there have been a lot of war. So it is also the second largest oil exporter in Africa and a major diamond producer. They have the giant sable antelope, which is a rare endemic giant sable antelope thought to have been extinct but rediscovered back in 2014. So, and then it's considered the origin of the dreadlock style. The country has a shortage of men, just to to throw it in there.
Oh,
So remember they had wars, so they're more
mm,
there. So the African proverb of the week that stems from Angola says, "A single bracelet does not jingle." You know your bracelet. A single
right.
bracelet. So, what can you decipher from that?
Right. And to, in order to make a impact or a sound or a jingle, you need, or you're more impactful with you know, strength in numbers type of thing. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's true. I also
Mhm.
had the same idea in mind when I looked at the proverb. Yes, if you want to make noise anywhere, you can't do it alone. You gotta go with people to do the same, to make it more vocal or to make a stand.
Yeah, like you
So
come
being solo,
together and right,
right? Making solo, yeah, you could, but it wouldn't be as much impactful when you are a group of people, you know, making it together. So
for sure.
that's the proverb of the week. And I was in Angola. Now, before we go, I want to send shout outs to the people who are watching us on YouTube, StreamYard, Substack, Facebook, and Clubhouse. This is, and not forgetting people from TikTok. Hola. So we got guys on TikTok now watching, and we really appreciate you guys hanging out with us.
Yeah, shout out to the other platforms who are chiming in on the episode in real time. We appreciate that. Audio episode will be available soon, and we appreciate that. All right.
So,
Well, yes.
what do you have for this week?
Okay. No, so we will officially introduce our topic. As you may or may not know, we have been doing a Black History series in celebration of Black History Month in February here. And we are in our third installment, third and final for the end of February to share our Pecha Kucha style presentation of Black history figures that you may or may not know. We definitely want to highlight and emphasize figures that are not so heard of and heard about. So today we have two great groundbreaking figures who use creativity to redefine freedom with my pick, Lorraine Hansberry, and whose words challenge the system. It has inspired generations. I just learned that her niece has an Instagram page, which is really cool. So I followed her. I might tag her. No, I'm just kidding.
This
Uh,
is this is a lot of things happening when
yeah.
you're doing these researches. You find
Mhm.
out a lot of stuff. Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
Tiffany says collaboration is key. She said collaboration is key whenever
Yes.
she's answering to the proverb that we were talking about. Thank you, Tiffany.
For sure. But yeah, so that was pretty cool to find out. When I was looking at the family, like her sister lived to be like, God, 101 or something like that. And the daughter of that sister, who is the young lady, oh, I can't think of her name right now, but yeah, she's out. She's, a young woman on Instagram. I don't know if she's a model or something, but she's beautiful young lady. So yeah, shout out to the Hansberry family. And so that's my pick. And then Chef James Hemmings, we will hear more about him, who is a genius, whose genius transformed American cuisine. So, really great story on that. I know I was really excited about hearing that pick, and when I heard that name, I was like, "Oh, wait a minute!" So, and I won't, I'll let your presentation share the details on that. But yeah, that's an
Remember
excellent
what I
story.
told you. Remember what I told you last week. Ain't
What's
nothing as
that?
good as black people food. Ain't nothing
Oh,
as good as a black people food.
well,
Collard
yeah.
greens,
So, Definitely.
I just had some collard greens the other day,
Did
courtesy of the
you?
kids. Yeah, I had collard
That's like,
greens and
I mean, it's not really
some
Thanksgiving food. It's
cornbread.
really, mm-hmm.
Yeah, cornbread and some chicken. You know, the real chicken. It was kind of a whole chicken, and then you cook it. You split it and cook it. Fresh chicken.
Okay.
Mm.
Fried chicken?
No, it wasn't fried. It was baked.
Okay. There you
Yeah,
go. Health journey. All right.
telling you.
So yeah, that sounds great. Okay, so I'm excited. So a quick
Who's going first?
little. I'll go first in this instance. Mine is a little longer this time. So Petra Kucha style presentation has an emphasis on the visuals. So we will have a visual presentation, um, which I think we both have voiceovers for these presentations, and then we will analyze and discuss after. All right.
Just before you start, I'd like to tell
Yeah.
people, just to let you guys know, she's got the best visuals all through this time. I can't beat those visuals. Mine was just the audio. I think the audios are the ones that helped me out. But visuals, Jen, she did it. You did it. So it's been a great job. You've done well.
Well, thank you. We try. Okay, so
We don't do try. We
oh
don't do try. No,
god.
no, no. We don't do try. Mm-mm. We did
Hey, we
great.
put our best effort forward, okay? We
There
put
you
our
go.
best
There you
effort
go.
forward. So, with that, let's do our presentation and we'll discuss. Let's see what we got. Lorraine Hansberry was a young girl in Chicago born May 19th, 1930, to a family that refused to stay in the place society carved out for them. Her father, Carl, was a powerhouse real estate broker who founded Lake Street Bank. Her mother, Nanny, was a dedicated teacher. Their home was a crossroads for the Harlem Renaissance. Imagine being a child and having W.E.B. Du Bois or Langston Hughes at your dinner table. That intellectual life came with a price. In 1937, her father challenged segregation by moving the family into a white neighborhood. Lorraine recalled that night when she was only 8, a brick hurled through their window, nearly missing her. Her family was threatened by a white mob. The trauma fueled the landmark Supreme Court case, Hansberry versus Lee, which fought restrictive covenants, keeping Black families in the slums. The Supreme Court upheld the legality of the restrictive covenant and forced the family to leave the house. The U.S. Supreme Court reversed the decision on a legal technicality. The result was the opening of 30 blocks of Southside Chicago to African Americans. Lorraine eventually left the University of Wisconsin for New York, where her activism met her personal life. In 1952, while protesting on a picket line at the NYU, she met Robert Nemiroff, a white Jewish writer and fellow activist. They married in 1953. Although they would separate, their marriage was a profound creative partnership. Robert's success as a songwriter provided financial stability that allowed Lorraine to focus entirely on her writing. He remained her closest confidant and the eventual executor of her legacy. With that support, she wrote A Raisin and the Sun. A Raisin in the Sun was the first play written by African American woman to be produced on Broadway. She drew upon the lives of working Black people. Hansberry once said, I think it is the type of segregation which exists in our country is the most incredible, the most wicked thing that can happen to people. She died at just 34. She died at just the age of 34, but her achievement remains a towering lighthouse, proving that a dream deferred doesn't have to dry up. It can have a voice and change the world. Okay. Thank you for listening to that presentation.
Um,
So,
wow, that was
thoughts?
fun. That was a young person. By the way, that clip about the dad
Mhm.
going in to live in that neighborhood, there is something that was going by the social rounds of somebody who was petty, like a petty millionaire who bought that building, and it shows that particular building about the some person who just decided he's going to buy that just to anger people. It's been making rounds on online. I don't know if I sent it to you, but it was like a cartoon character that people were using. That it just got in. I
Like a
just
black
remember.
man buying a building that black people couldn't have at first.
Yes.
Okay, you were talking
Is
about
it
Mike
related?
Epps, because Mike Epps, he purchased a lot of property in his hometown, and he even said like the ones that his mom got kicked out of,
Mm.
he went back and purchased a lot of that, and made them rentals and stuff like that. But I don't want you to get off the point of Lorraine Hansberry
Yeah, no,
because
no, no. It wasn't bad. It was just part of like a history. I thought it was related. Like the way we relate something that is seen somewhere, but it just ties to that, something like that. I was just
okay,
trying to put it in. But
I know.
going back to her, I mean, wow. I did not know that she was the one who wrote "Raisin in the Sun," first of all, and yeah,
Yeah.
dying when she was young. That was too young for
Now, do
somebody.
you remember? So you're familiar with "Raisin in the Sun"? Have you've seen the film version with Sidney Poitier? Because there's a lot of different versions of the production. Okay, so and it's probably hard to get. I'm sure it's not even on streaming because it's literally from the 1960s. Because there's a version that has Ozzie Davis playing the son. Sidney Poitier. That version has to be like from the early 60s or late 50s maybe, and that one's really good. When I was a little kid, my sister, it's a big age difference, but she had to read it in college and she loved Lorraine Hansberry, and so it was always like Lorraine Hansberry. And so
Mhm.
we watched that. Sydney, and she was a big Sidney Poitier fan too, so I seen every Sidney Poitier movie there ever was. And his version is really good, but I don't know if you remember this. This had to be like in the maybe late mid 90s, or maybe Miss Tiffany maybe remember. They did a version remake on TV movie, and they had Felicia Rashad playing the mother. They had Puff Daddy playing the
Yeah,
character
I was about to
Walter.
say.
Yeah, that was a good version. I can't remember who else was in it, but yeah, it was a remake
It was the remake.
like in
Yeah,
the 90s.
it was nice. It was a great remake.
Yeah.
Uh,
But
mhm,
no, I wanted to. So you mentioned her father. So basically, like if you're familiar with the story, that basically happened to her. Her family moved in an all white neighborhood, and didn't get the welcome wagon. They actually, had a white mob, forcing them out, and they didn't put all that in her play version. But it's interesting to know that that actually happened to her, that going through that, being in a neighborhood where it's like you work so hard to have something nice for your family, and then when you get there you're
mhm.
treated like you don't even belong, you know what I mean? So it's a really good story. Even just reading the book version of the play is really deep. So
So, "Raisin in the Sun" was about her experience. A raisin in the
yeah,
sun.
yeah, it had to
About
be. It had,
about.
yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, what's a well for those who may want to catch the storyline? What was it about? It kind of give it
Right.
a.
So I mean, and then what's really even more poetic, or even as poetic as the story, the title is a line from a Langston Hughes poem, "A Dream Deferred," which is really what's kind of happening in the story. A black family, comes into a size of money. I want to say it's like what was left over from the father of the family passing away, so they have this nice amount of money, um
Mhm,
that to move out of their little apartment and into a nice home that they thought would be a good fit for their multi-generational family. And so they make
mhm,
plans to move into this neighborhood, and the word has gotten out that they're planning to move in this neighborhood, and they get some visitors of some people who want to unwelcome them, you know, and let them know. that they're not welcomed. And so,
uh,
it's like what they go through. And so they have some little personal struggles and things like that. But it's really cool on a play version. Like sometimes community productions may run a Raisin in the Sun. So if you happen to see it come to your town or something like that, check it out, or even just picking up the play. It's a really short read and it's a good story.
uh, oh, okay.
So,
I'd like to shout out to K Essentials. She just joined us in, and she said, "Good evening, everyone. Good evening, K Essentials. Glad to have you around, and
yes.
welcome to our show."
Yes,
Yeah,
welcome.
I I'm really stoked to listen to not to listen but to watch it because it
Mhm.
sounds great.
Yeah, definitely.
The part I didn't catch last time, maybe because I was working a lot and it didn't kind of entice me as much to watch it. Was Denzel Washington was in it, right? That Raising the Sun. Was he on the play?
No, no,
He wasn't on it.
no. So he did a remake of Fences, which is an August Wilson play.
Well,
That
that
may
was a movie.
be right. They made a movie version of his play. August
Oh, okay,
Wilson. That's a
okay.
different one. But it's, the originals were kind of probably the same time period. But yeah, that's a different playwright,
Oh, okay.
August
Oh,
Wilson. But yeah,
and
Sydney Poitier.
what about her life? What can you tell about her life by your readings?
Yeah, college educated woman, which, but her family was too. Her mother was a teacher, her father not only was a real estate broker, he founded a bank. Like a black man in the 1930s, being a real estate broker and then creating his own African American bank. Like, hello, huge, really
That's
huge.
him.
Yeah.
That's the thing that has been going rounds in the whatever. You had to tell me that. Yes, that's the one.
Okay.
That's the one they've been
Okay. So
playing.
that's the connection.
They're saying he was being petty. That's why he moved. No, they when they kicked him out, he went and bought the whole apartment because it was just being petty because of what they did to him.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
Oh, you
yeah.
think that's the same one?
It's the same one because they said he later went on to start
Oh.
to get a bank or something like that. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, and then
That's
landmark,
yeah.
Supreme Court, which is
Hmm.
crazy. The Supreme Court decision didn't rule in their favor until later when it got overturned. But yeah, it was deep to
Oh,
experience and go through that. And then she she didn't have children, but she did marry. They did divorce, but he was a creative too. He was a songwriter. Her husband, this Jewish man that she married, and he ended up releasing a lot of her, I guess maybe three projects after she passed away. She had one play that she had just finished, and he published that, and he published like three other pieces of her work. So you can get, I think I flashed a picture of it, the complete works of Lorraine Hansberry, and it has like her final, like unfinished projects in there, which is kind of cool because it's like this is something that she was working on at the very end, and we've had this conversation of don't wait till it's perfect, just put it, just put it out there. So
start somewhere and get to even if you don't finish,
yeah,
at least you start
absolutely.
something. Yeah,
Right.
it's worth something in the end. Oh,
True.
interesting. Interesting.
Definitely. I don't know. I just like I told you before that I always wanted to be a writer, so I get excited about the writing creative
I
thing.
remember last week you read out to me like seven or eight writers right off the bat, even without me saying a
Oh
word.
yeah.
Like boom,
Yeah,
boom, 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 boom.
that's yeah, that's my
Are you in
thing.
a book club right now, or you just
Yeah, I've actually been in several, but yeah, I actually attended a book club meeting on Friday. A book about Jesse
that's
Jackson
what I'm
by
talking about.
Amanda Phillips.
Hmm.
So that was interesting. Which we kind of talked about Jesse Jackson briefly, but this book by Phillips, or it's Abby Phillips, the journalist on CNN,
It's
she
Abby
gets
Phillips.
into the yeah, correct. The controversy surrounding Jesse, which we didn't actually get into
No.
the controversy, which, even like the night Martin Luther King was killed, there's a lot of controversy with Jesse Jackson. So we only have to go. but look into it. There's books written about it and all that. So
Yeah. So in an African tradition, when somebody passes on, we usually don't like to talk about those things. We try and exemplify the person in their best selves, because what
mhm.
else, they did their best. What else would you want them to do? They were human. You realize that
Oh,
they're human
for
actually.
sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, and I even went into
I
some
agree.
clubhouse conversations about it. Which, there's nothing wrong with having, read the course and just talking about it or whatever. But, someone has passed on. So think it's
Yeah, whatever happened to him was human, and it's just the other rumors. Those are the ones I don't know if they were found. They were found to be true, but what we say: if there's smoke, there's fire.
right. Yeah, some of it's documented and there's, a lot of, evidence to some
So,
things, but
supported.
he did some good work. So
Oh yeah, definitely. He
yeah,
really
for
did
sure.
something good. Yeah. So who's our next person?
Yeah, so
James.
James Hemming. So let's get in mode for that. And this one's really interesting. Got excited about this one too. And shout out to everyone tapping in on the other platforms. We appreciate you. Sambaza has made arrangements for us to for our broadcast to be on the other platforms. So shout out to you guys. We appreciate all of you.
Yeah, thank you all for joining in.
All right, let's pull this up.
Welcome to the
So we're going to talk
Sambaza
about.
podcast, celebrating Black History Month. Join us as we explore the challenges
Ready? Okay.
and triumphs of notable figures. Today, we remember James Hemmings, the chef credited with popularizing the now famous macaroni and cheese in America. Born into slavery in Virginia in 1755, James Hemmings was the son of Betty Hemmings and an English sea captain. He was also the half-brother of Jefferson's first wife, Martha, and brother of Sally Hemings. Hemmings trained as both a chef de cuisine and pastry chef at Monticello, under elite French chefs for 3 years, to become Thomas Jefferson's potential chef. While in Paris, Hemmings adapted macaroni au gratin, a French dish, to better suit American tastes. He utilized French techniques like braising and sautéing, creating delicate dishes like the snow egg. James Hemmings became one of the first French-trained chefs from the United States, and the first Black French-trained chef. He even cooked for a pivotal dinner in 1790. As part of his agreement for freedom, James trained his younger brother, Peter Hemmings, to take over his position at Monticello. By 1793, James successfully negotiated his freedom. After returning to the USA, James worked at a tavern in Baltimore. He tragically took his own life at the age of 36 on November 5, 1801, a time when mental health challenges were often misunderstood. Today, macaroni and cheese is a multi-billion-dollar industry and a household staple. While Jefferson often received credit, modern food history recognizes Hemmings as the true innovator. Cheers to James Hemmings, the Black chef who curated a dish that remains so popular today. Thank you for listening to the Sambaza podcast. Please subscribe and share. Welcome.
All right. Very nice. Nicely done. Oh,
Nice, thank you. I really appreciate that. Now, what did I find about him? Um, we know he never married. Actually, he never had any
okay.
kids,
Mhm.
and he was mixed.
Mhm.
And I think the sister. So which is so weird. I think part of it was that's how he got his privilege, and he could get by
Absolutely.
through a lot of those things, and became a chef because of his color of the skin, light skin. I was about to say light skin, but
Not just light skin, but being the, offspring of the master of the plantation.
yes,
Mhm.
that helped a lot. And I think, and from what I read, that's the reason why he also got the chance to go to abroad. He used
Mhm.
to suffer. He suffered from. I think he had he had mental challenges, and he used to drink a lot, and he used to get into trouble. That's the reason why he never got out of the employment. Because he when he went to France, he was kind of France already had in the 1700s, in 1789 or somewhere around there, they had already declared slavery off. But he had that uncomfortable position where he could not fire them uh, uh, and let them go, but he could go because he had already created a lot of equity where he could just leave and become a chef anywhere. But something he had done, so it kind of he was kind of being looked after
Mm-hmm.
by Jefferson, and then Jefferson paid started paying him wages.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they left, they came back to the U.S. and he moved to Philadelphia. When he moved to Philadelphia, Philadelphia was also part of the reason. Also, Philadelphia was a place where people were free, and he couldn't. He had that problem where now he had to pay them some money
Okay.
to, and they said, "Okay, cool, we're going to negotiate our wages," and that's kind of how he stayed there. Uh,
Mm.
the readings show that yes, he did have difficulty, but he was good at his job, and he actually spoke French. And when you look at
Mm.
the time to speak French was kind of highly noted, and he got a tutor actually. Jefferson got him a tutor to teach him French, and that's part of where his wages went to. And what was sad was that instead of negotiating, part of the deal for him to be free was he let Jefferson um, have his brother, his half brother, I think, but he had his brother train him so that he becomes a chef, so that he can be let free. So it's like
Mm.
it's a pound of flesh actually. And by the way, Denise says hello, family. I'm just stopping there for a minute to just say hello. And Denise Briggs says very interesting. Welcome to the show. We want to thank Denise because Denise actually lent us one name to be able to talk about it. Was it Selma Brooke?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. Thank
Mm-hmm.
you so much. And also, Tiffany says it's true. Jefferson inherited the Hemmings family because the father died, so it was kind of
Mm.
inherited. So he was born at 8 years old. That's when they shifted. So it was like shifting people across. And at one point, when he left, when Jefferson became president, he asked him to come back, Hemmings, and Hemmings said no. He asked a second time. Now through an interpreter, Hemmings told him, "Hey, you know what, bruh, it ain't gonna work out." And he actually used a type of like a slur on
Mm-hmm.
him to
Mm-hmm.
say, "No, I cannot work for you," because he felt that if he went to work and he's been paid and he had slaves, he was like, how would it feel if I'm sitting at the table with other people working for me and I'm getting a wage and they're not getting a wage? So it's not going to work. That's how he kind of explained it. But briefly after that, he went back to Monticello, which was where he trained for about a year, and then came back. When he came back, that's when he went to work at a tavern, and somehow one of those days in 1801, he just November in 1801, he just passed on by drinking himself. And as they say, those days they want into talking about things happening or suicide. They just said he just drank too much, and they,
Mm.
they didn't even want to acknowledge that he had that issue. Another thing I want to add is mac and cheese. Let's talk about that mac and cheese. Mac and cheese, staple. Anywhere you go eat, I think in a cookout, mac and cheese got to be there. I know in our cookouts, mac and cheese has got to be there. It's always got to be there. Um, so he actually experimented on that mac and cheese and made it better
Mm-hmm.
to the point where when he brought it here, it was like, oh wow, it's never been done like that. But also the other thing, he was making it, curating it to Jefferson himself, so that
Mm-hmm.
Jefferson could enjoy the meal because he was a chef. Um, Another thing about that is he also did other things, like I think it was the egg news or something. So he was very brilliant in what he was doing. Shout outs to him and what he had done. So he was the first black chef, first African American chef. Not even, let's not talk about any American chef first. So
Mhm.
those are his distinctions by the time he was there. Also, Tiffany says Jefferson's wife was half sister to Henry's siblings. Ooh.
But
Okay.
in addition
Yeah.
to that, from my understanding, Jefferson had a family. I think I read that it's referred to as a shadow family with Sally Hemings, who is James Hemings' sister.
He had
So
six.
that's
He had six kids.
okay, gotcha. So that's a different, interesting dynamic too. And then the fact that when you say he wouldn't come back, like he's no, it's not right. I'm not coming back. You know what I mean? So I think that was, having integrity, because some people back then would have just okay, I want to get my money. I don't care who in there, and I don't care if they see me or whatever. Like the character in Django, it was people really rolling like that back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that kind of speaks to his integrity, and then maybe knowing that he got my sister up here like this. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't going. I ain't going. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, and he retired with $1,000 equivalent of the currency right now, $36. That's what he retired with when he came back to Baltimore, which actually may have been one of those things. Maybe he thought he was going to get a pension or something to make him get better, and ending up in a tavern for that was too much talent right there, and maybe they didn't recognize it. One thing I want to add, which is interesting, is one of the sisters, is the one who put the mac and cheese formula in the book.
Okay.
So they started crediting her instead of him. But later on, that's when they started saying, okay, it was he who actually came up with the idea. The reason why they do that is because guess what? He was writing on the list the the ideas of the recipes in the
Recipe.
kitchen. He wrote down the recipes and the idea. And actually, there was a mac and cheese maker. Something was making the mac and cheese, the cheese, a machine. He has it illustrated
Like the
somewhere.
noodle, right?
Right. So
Yeah.
he had a machine created that he could make that, and he had illustrated it. That's how they started giving him credit, and not Jefferson. And then I
Mm.
think with the sister putting it in a book, that's kind of where it starts making sense. And actually, of all the sisters, all of them got married to Caucasian men,
Mhm.
whereas one of them decided, no, I'm not, and I'm still staying in the black neighborhood and
Mhm.
living as a black person, though they were considered 78th white by the
Mhm.
fact. I gotta get a shout out. There's a guy who said, "Bro, good to see you, still doing your thing. We went to school back, class of XX. What's XX? Together, boss. Thank you so much. My
Okay.
school. My,
Okay.
so yeah, I just had to mention before it disappears here on my screen. Yeah, and it is really interesting how they ended up. The family just dispersed, but shout outs to him because without him, Jen, you'll be having that mac and cheese. My kids love
No,
mac and
it's so much more than mac and cheese, but okay. No, but I mean, like even like the creme brulee and that
right,
whole like
right.
using the flame and yeah, that's like technique with that.
But
I can
imagine that
appreciate that.
$2.95 billion industry is
Mhm.
what mac and cheese is bringing right now, and courtesy to him because it
That's
was him
true.
who. So here's how it comes about. He brings it here, starts making it. People start adopting it, and actually, he made a dinner. There was a dinner
Mhm.
that he made, which he's credited for as a chef.
Mhm.
Great dinner where I think James Madison, Jefferson, and George Washington sit down and have a meal together, and they
Mhm.
hash out their differences, and that's what moves the capital over from Philadelphia to DC.
Mhm.
Um, so that meal was one of the meals that he made, and they say that that created it was like a camaraderie meal that made everyone become friends, sort of, because they were political enemies at that
Hmm.
time
Okay.
till then. Yeah, so he did some great things. He was part of a process, which, as I say, it just made him get known more and more and more. Now, the Italians who came from when they came in are the ones who kind of made it faster, because Italians and pasta and everything. When they came in, they now pushed the mac and cheese version
Mm-hmm.
up
Mm-hmm.
more and more. So that's when we started adapting it. And then, hey, when we take it, we make it even better.
Okay. Well,
Do you make
that
do you,
was.
do you make mac and cheese?
I know how to make it, but for health reasons, try to not
Yeah,
get into the carbs of it all and the pasta of it all.
yeah. Hey, but when summertime comes,
No, I mean more power to the mac and cheese, but I'm trying to lay low on mac and cheese right now.
right.
It has not served me well.
So
So
then, when you look at both of them, what similarities can we get out of the two?
yeah, I mean, like we were just talking about that integrity. I think both of them, being from educated, family, or in his case, he had privilege and he was
Mhm.
able to use that to his benefit and get education and learn culinary arts and things like that to better himself. So, yeah,
The only the other similarity is they both died when they're young. I mean, this was
yeah,
34,
that's true.
36, so we never got to get the full experience. I wish he had gotten the chance to maybe put his skills to maybe owning a shop, or not a shop, a restaurant,
Yeah,
and
that'd be great.
recreating those meals. I think
Right.
that would probably have made, well, not made more of a legacy, but it would have created a, we don't know what it was, but let's say
But
it
I
could
mean,
have.
those documented recipes, that's
Right.
legacy all day long. And just, a lot of recipes are like word of mouth. I saw someone post about like, was it tea cakes or something like that, which is something
Mhm,
that, is from our culture that,
mhm,
people made in slavery time or enslaved times, with not very many ingredients, just as look, this is what we got and we're gonna make this, and then that recipe just kind of got passed around from families, word of
mhm.
mouth, and things like that. So
And a lot of people who are chefs in this day and age still pay homage to him,
mhm,
as being, especially those who are connoisseurs of the mac and cheese. They do say that this is him, and I've seen a lot of them being put out there on, as I
that's
was
great.
studying on it. Yeah, you see a lot of them talking about it. Images are shared all over, and this has been one of the greatest Black History Month that I've settled around to look at
Mhm.
in depth, especially when you're looking at the people who are not known. Like I was saying, the ones we know, and I'm not going to repeat them because I think it's not repeating
What are
them
you
again.
talking about?
But the ones that we knew, remember, we kept on talking about some that we know, all the regular ones that we know, and we keep mentioning them over and over again. I think
Okay.
this time we have shown, or we're trying to make sure, or we're enhancing the fact that there's more to it than just what we see. And we only dealt with 8. I wish we could deal with more of
Mhm,
them,
mhm.
but we can do what we can. I think we can do more.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the ones that you may be more familiar with, but because I mean, there's someone out there that doesn't, maybe hearing, I probably could tell you some things you don't know about Martin Luther King, and that's the one, we learned in school, but there was some, so much, but yeah,
Can I tell you something funny? So
okay,
this week, no, no, it's not really funny, but it's interesting. So this weekend at the Black History Month uh, that we were doing, there was a Caucasian boy,
hmm,
and he wanted extra credit. And in order to get the extra credit, he got voluntold to say a poem. and he was given a poem for Langston Hughes. He caught stage fright. However, even with the stage fright, he did make it. He did a great job, and he said his piece. I think he didn't expect to see a lot of people show up because there
Mm,
were a lot of people. I mean, I could count almost over 200. We
mm,
thought it was maybe going to be 50 at most or 100.
mhm.
I think it was more than 300. I could go up to 300 or 500 carefully between that. I think max, if I say a lot, but 400. And it was a great crowd, because
Good.
the community is actually supporting each other. But the boy had stage fright, which was kind of interesting. But he did manage to say his poem, and yeah, it was a nice event.
Well, good.
Yeah,
That's good. To get the kids involved.
yeah, yeah. We have to get them involved and them learning about these things. What I don't know how we can repurpose our audios, our slides, but I'm still thinking about how I can repurpose them and use them for
Mhm.
later use because they're a gem. We did some studies, and I think they can be shared
Oh,
somewhere. I'll put
absolutely.
mine
For
online.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and write pieces about them.
Yeah, I'm trying to get more active on that Substack. I know you've been
Oh yeah,
posting
Substack.
there.
With the Substack, it's funny. I've only been doing these lives. I haven't started
Oh, we should
posting like.
try going live on there together to see if you can bring me in because I know you
Yeah,
tried to
we can
bring
try.
somebody in and it
Yeah,
didn't.
we can try it. See how it
Yeah, just
works.
to test it out. Yeah. And we haven't done the TikTok. TikTok kind of made me mad, but we can do another TikTok one of these days too.
Jen and
Just,
TikTok. Jen and TikTok. Jen TikTok loves
but
you. Yeah.
no, it doesn't. And letting people
Now
put up
we're
fake
gonna go
pictures.
back to the chats and ask what everyone thought here of the Black History Month that we've shared. Denise says chickpea pasta is a good alternative for you in
Or
case
pasta.
you are
Okay.
on a health journey. Yeah, that's great. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
want to try.
do whole wheat pasta a lot. So yeah, chickpea. I've seen that. But yeah, I usually do the wheat. But
Right.
yeah.
All right, we're going to go back to the people who are online. Please, can you share what you liked about Black History Month and what it may have meant to you? Anybody who's on TikTok, Clubhouse, or anywhere that is online, please tell us as we wind down the show because this has been a great month.
It has. I know I keep a dime on my desk at work and I think of Selma Burke when I look at the dime and I'm just like, I'm gonna keep this dime right here. And it does make me
Yeah.
think about
I think going back with the brown condor, when I
Mhm.
look at it and look at the Ethiopian connection, that still amazes me. How
Yeah.
got himself, the opportunity, and then took the opportunity, and he's where he is, and he died, where he felt home was.
Mhm.
Home is where your heart is. I guess his heart was in Ethiopia.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good story. That was a good one.
So with that, Jen, I think we are going to conclude this year's Black History Month. I did enjoy it. Like I said, always a pleasure to go into history and look at things from the where it started and where we are right now.
For sure, I agree, and I appreciate you being a willing participant in our Pinchacucha battle competition. Yeah, interesting
Was
way
it
to
a
put
battle?
the.
'Cause you already had won after you gave all the details.
I
I
mean, it
couldn't.
wasn't really a battle, but AI kept calling it a battle, so I was like, okay, AI is calling it a battle, so
One thing I'm going to do is learn more of doing that, doing the Sora. thing for the videos
And
because
they have other ones too, but yeah, so it's fun.
one thing at a I think one thing at a time. Substack. Once I hit Substack, well, then I think I'll go explore
And you
that.
know what? I'm gonna
Um,
try to make. I told you that some people have like a creative story that just keeps like interlocking. I'm gonna try
mhm.
that because I've made distinguished characters. And so I'm gonna. You
Oh,
could say loop in this character, and you can just do like your own little telenovela or your own little soap opera, if you know,
oh,
or
that'd be
your own
nice.
little, yeah, your own little funny bit or whatever. And it's so funny that you can change things, make the guy take off his glasses, make the guy have a blue shirt, you know what I mean? Like, you know, make it in the style of the Boondocks, make it in the style of anime. You know what I mean? Like you can do all these different things. So
Yeah, AI is doing a lot right now.
I know some people don't like it, but I just say, use it for good and not the bad.
And like right now, we've used the AI tools to create these animations, and those animations actually create more lively pictures, more lively no no more lively essence of whatever
Right,
we're trying to
storytelling,
depict.
absolutely.
Yeah,
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 even
and
when we talked to Tammy Banks, who is a award-winning filmmaker, said that that's a good way to like run your storyboards. What I mean, you have an idea and you just kind of want to like see it before you actually put it out there, and that's a good tool. So directors are using this tool, you know what I mean? Which that kind of made me feel like, okay, like I might be able to do something one day, long form with it. But this is a good way
I'm
to,
still,
get your feet wet.
I'm still thinking about the long form of the the play that I wrote,
Mhm.
the audiogram. But that's a story for
Yeah,
another day.
that would be a really, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I want to send this last thing, this appeal that I have for anyone who's out there. Sambaza podcast this year is moving major things, and we are asking for your help. We're trying to get to 1,001 subscribers. So, what we're asking of you is please just hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. It's free. Do that, and you're helping us be out there. And with whatever we're gonna earn, if once we get to the point of starting to earn, is what's gonna make us create better videos and give you greater content and more content for that matter. Because it all starts here. So just to support the Sambaza podcast and Walk by Accident, go ahead, hit that subscribe button for us, and we will be enjoying it and enjoying more better videos for that matter.
And we appreciate the support as well. I'm glad you included Woke by Accident in that pledge there. I'm just saying, okay.
Good.
But no, we appreciate all the follows, all the supports, even if you just tap in for a little bit, we appreciate it. But yeah, being a creator is not only fun and exciting, it's expensive. So like, anything we can do to, add resources to the journey, that helps, So yeah, for sure.
All right. So with that, Jen, I say take us home.
Well, again, we thank you guys for joining us. We hope that today's conversation has inspired and enlightened you. If you found the show meaningful, please consider sharing it with family, friends, colleagues. Our collective awareness and advocacy play a crucial role in creating positive change, and we invite you to stay tuned for more engaging content. And we look forward to continuing these important conversations in the future. With that, everyone, be well and take care.